हेलो एवरीवन। सो जैसा कि हम लोगों ने लास्ट क्लास में पाइथन स्टार्ट किया हुआ है, कुछ सेशंस हमने किए भी थे दो तीन, एंड अब हम लोगों को कॉन्टिन्यूस क्लासेस करनी है। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव चोजन दिस टाइम। सो आई होप दैट ये टाइम आप लोगों के लिए कन्वीनियंट रहेगा। सो आगे की क्लासेस अगर ये टाइम कन्वीनियंट रहेगा तो हम लोग इसी टाइम पर कर लिया करेंगे। इज इट अ कन्वीनियंट टाइम गाइस? एवरीवन, is it a convenient time for everyone so that we can just keep on keeping we can keep this class on this time only then? ठीक है, आप लोग मुझे बता दीजिए। उससे पहले हम यहाँ पर स्टार्ट करते हैं कंडीशनल स्टेटमेंट्स, राइट? आप लोग मुझे चैट में लिखकर भी बता सकते हो, नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल। सो basically now in today's session we have to go uh, on to these conditional statements। तो हम लोगों ने लास्ट सेशन में कवर किया था। अगर आपने अभी देखे नहीं है लास्ट सेशंस तो वो लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग्स के टाइम पे हम लोगों ने पाइथन सीरीज स्टार्ट जो की हुई है, तो पाइथन की एक प्लेलिस्ट बनी हुई है, उसमें आप जाके चेक कर लेना, राइट? सो आज हम लोगों को कवर करना है कंडीशनल स्टेटमेंट्स वगैरह वगैरह, वेरएज हमने इससे पहले कवर किया हुआ है ऑपरेटर्स एंड वेरिएबल्स एंड डेटा टाइप्स, ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, है ना? सो लेट अस स्टार्ट विद इट। कंडीशनल स्टेटमेंट मतलब इफ एल्स, राइट? सो if else is basically considered as conditional statement, right? Basically what happens is that sometimes some events are going to give you answers as true and false, and based on that answer you want to choose in between the set of instructions that you are basically executing. So suppose for example you have multiple statements here. So one of the statement is saying hello world, right? Another statement is suppose saying that this is a good morning, right? This is a good morning, right? So something like that is written in the second statement. And then there is a third statement which is saying that uh, very good night to everyone, right? Very good night everyone. Now obviously these two sentences don't go together, right? Because either when the user is running the program, either it is a good morning or otherwise it is a good night, right? The both statements together are not making much sense. So these kind of sentences which are basically dependent on some sort of input from the user or maybe from somewhere else. So based on which we can choose among the two statements that which one to execute and which one not to execute. That kind of conditions you can put with the help of your if else blocks, right? So now suppose we are asking our user that user what is the time of the day today, right? What is this time of the day, right? So daytime we are taking as input, and suppose the user is saying that right now it is afternoon, right? Or suppose right now it is morning time, right? So obviously this statement should be executed if right now it is morning, whereas if daytime is night, then we should say very good night everyone, right? So based on the value that we are having inside the daytime, we are going to choose among these two statements that which one to execute. So if the daytime that we are considering for this particular statement to execute is morning, so we basically want to put a condition here. We are saying that if daytime is equals to morning, right? If daytime is morning, then execute this particular statement. Then how do you tell the computer that you have to bind this particular statement with if block? So you are basically giving a indentation here, right? Giving some indentation here. Indentation simply means these four spaces, these four white spaces are called as indentation. So we are saying that if suppose daytime is equals to morning, right? If these things matches, then you have to print this statement. Otherwise, else, if the output of this particular expression is coming out as false, that is, the daytime that you have inside this variable is not morning, is suppose night, right? So obviously daytime here is night, and you want to match it with morning. So obviously these two are not equal. At that time, when these expressions will give you the answer as false, at that time this else part will be executed. So here you're going to have this very good night everyone, right? So now if you will run this program, you will notice it that because this expression was not giving you true as the output, that's why this else part was executed. Whereas if this expression will be evaluated into a true value, that is, suppose we are having here mentioned morning, right? So obviously the value of daytime is also morning, and we are matching it with morning only. So the output will be, if you will run this, then the output will be this is good morning. So this is how a simple if else block runs. So I hope that this is clear to everyone, that how we put conditions on our code, that which part of the code we want to run and which part we don't want to run, right? Now I think that this is clear. Now, apart from this, now you have to understand one more thing, which is that not only one statement, but you can put multiple statements also here. So here we are saying that print hello, and then print it's 9:40. So you just are trying to give some additional information. So all the statements that have equal indentation, that is one indentation, are going to be a part of if statement. So whenever this expression will be evaluated into a true value, all the time these three statements are going to be executed. Now if I'll run it, then obviously all these statements are executed because these are the parts of if statement, right? So these three statements are part of if, that's why all these three are running, right? Whereas if suppose this expression will be evaluated into a false result, then only this single statement will run. And then afterwards, if you want to run a normal code which is not dependent on this daytime condition, for example, you want to say that I have a variable which is called as a and I'm storing 78 inside it, and then I want to print the value of a. So this simple normal execution of the code you want to do after having this conditional statements and everything, right? So that is also possible. After executing if else, now you can run your normal code, but you have to just take care of the indentation. If you're giving indentation, then whatever the parent element is, it will become the part of that one. Whereas if you're not giving indentation, then it is a normal statement and it is not a part of if or else. So this is how it basically works, right? So I hope that this is clear to everyone. Now what happens is that we were talking about a single condition if we want to put, but sometimes your code can have multiple conditions also. For example, you want to implement a calculator. So obviously in the calculator, you're going to have multiple options. For example, the user want to do the addition, or maybe they want to do the subtraction or multiplication. So multiple options are there. And based on the multiple options, you're going to put conditions, right? And on the basis of the condition, you're going to execute the concerned code. So how do we do that? Let us see. So first of all, we are saying that we want an operator, right? We want an operator, and let us take the input from user this time. So we are saying that enter some operator, right? And what are the operators that we want from the user, that the user should enter? So we are saying that either use plus symbol or minus or division or multiplication. So we want the user to enter one of these symbols. Afterwards, we want that, okay, after having the input of the symbols, we want the user to enter two numbers also. So number one is equals to input, and here we are going to give the message as enter number one, right? So the first number will be entered by the user, and in the similar way we are asking the user to input number two. So here we are going to take the input saying enter number 2, right? So that's how we are taking the input of two different numbers. right? After taking the input of the numbers, obviously you want to do plus, minus, division or multiplication. So these are all mathematical operations that needs a number, right? Because they operate on a number. So that's why the value that you get from the input function is always a string. Even though you are giving 23 or 87, the numbers, they are also a string data type. So that's why we have to convert these numbers first. So here we are saying, then convert this number 1 into integer value. So now it is number 1 equals to int num1, and in the similar way we are saying number 2 is equals to int and number 2, right? So this is how we have taken into account this particular numbers. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to add these two numbers or multiply these two numbers based on the operator that has been entered. So here we can put a condition. We're saying that if operator equals to plus, if suppose this is true, that the operator that the user has entered is equals to plus, then we are saying that okay, take a resultant variable in which we can add these two numbers, num1 plus num2, and then we want to print the result, right? So print addition is, and then what is the addition? So we have kept the result inside the result variable, so let us print from there itself. Now, if the operator matches with plus, then these two statements will run. But if this condition is not true, then we have to go for the second condition, which is saying that if the operator is equals to minus, right? This is the second condition that we can come across. So in this particular case, we are saying that result is equals to num1 minus num2, and then we can print the result also. We are saying that print subtraction is subtraction is subtraction is equals to, and whatever the result is, which is stored inside the result only. Then the third case arise. So in the third case we have this condition where we are checking for elif operator operator equals to multiplication. If this case fits in, right? So we are saying that the result is equals to num1 into num2, and at this moment we want the print output to be multiplication is, and what is the multiplication? So that is also we have kept inside the result. And else, if none of the cases matches, it means it must be a division, or otherwise you can go for elif statement for division also. So elif operator equals to, if it is equals to division, then we have to go for the result as num1 divided by num2, and then print the answer as division is, and what is the division? So the division is kept inside the result, right? So at each entry we are defining that what is the result at that particular moment. And now if the user has entered something else, for example it is not matching up with any of the operator, maybe they have entered mod division or any other thing, right? So if any wrong input is given by the user, then we have to print a statement saying that you have entered a wrong input. So we are telling them also that you have done some mistake, right? So please rectify it when you will run the program again. And here we can print a message that whatever the result is has been successfully printed, right? So this is how we have evaluated certain states of our program. So whatever the input will be, accordingly you will get the output. Now if you will run this, then it is asking us that enter some operator. Do you want plus operation, minus, division? What do you want? So we are saying that we want division. All right, enter number 1, so it is 67, and enter number 2, which is 3, and the division is 22 point something something, and successfully printed. It means that your task has been completed successfully, right? You have to notice that in these multiple cases that you have made, right? If elif and else, in these multiple cases only one case that will match, right, will run. So the first case that will match the uh, operator, right? Because we are matching it with operator. So wherever the condition will come out as true, that will operate, and the cases underneath will not run. So only the first case that matches with the operator will run, and other cases never run, right? So this is the criteria that we have to understand, right? Now there is one more thing that you have to understand, that is nesting, right? There comes a concept of nesting. Nesting means, so suppose if we are saying that we want to do conditional nesting, it simply means that inside any if block we want to put another if block, or inside any elif block we want to put any other if elif block. In the similar way, maybe we want to put it inside else block. So whenever you want to put a condition within any conditional block, that is called as nesting. So let us see that how it works. So suppose we have a variable which is called as umbrella, right? So one variable is rain, and rain basically denotes whether it is raining outside or not. So we can keep false also inside it and true also, right? So we basically have, we are going to keep boolean value inside rain according to the condition whether it is raining outside or not. And then we have another variable which is umbrella, and umbrella stores the value in the form of true and false according to the value we are keeping. So if suppose umbrella is containing true, it means that we have umbrella inside our home, and if the value of umbrella is false, then it simply means that we don't have umbrella. Simple as that, right? Now we basically want to make a program, make an application in such a way which checks that if it is raining and if you have an umbrella, then you can go out, right? If it is raining and you don't have an umbrella, then you cannot go out. So it basically tells you the current state of yours, that is, are you in a state to go out or are you not in the state to go out. So it is a very simple program that tells you whether you should go out or not, right? Now if it is not raining, so obviously you don't need an umbrella, so in that particular case we will allow you to go out, right? So this is a simple program that we have to implement. So now the output console of this application is going to tell you whether or not you are basically allowed to go out, right? So now let us start with the if condition. So we are saying, first of all, let us check whether or not it is raining, right? So we have checked it here, that if rain equals to true, right? Now if the condition will come out as true, that yes, the value of rain is also true, then we will put a if block within this if block, right? But in else block we are saying that if it is not raining, then obviously you can go out, right? Because if it is not raining, then there is no need of umbrella altogether. So we are saying that please go out and enjoy, right? So because it is not raining, so it is not at all dependent on umbrella. But if it is raining, then we have to go for another if block. So there is a if block within the if block, right? And in this internal if block or nested if block, we are checking for umbrella only. And we are saying if umbrella equals to true, right? If umbrella equals to true, then print the value that you can go out because it is raining, but you have umbrella as well. So of course you can go out and enjoy, right? So the same message we will print here as well. So we are saying that yes, you can go out and enjoy. Whereas if this internal condition, that is umbrella, is equals to false, right? Then we have to say that you can not go out. Why? The reason is that it was raining. That's why we have come inside the for loop, sorry, inside the if condition. And now you don't have an umbrella, which was a condition prerequisite if you want to go out. So that's why I have to answer you as that you cannot go out, right? Please don't go out, something like that, right? Don't go out because you don't have an umbrella. So this is how we have completed this particular program. Now if we'll check for this, so let us run it. It is saying please go out and enjoy. Why? Because it is not raining at all, right? In the similar context, if we will change the value of rain, it is saying please go out and enjoy because it is raining, but you do have an umbrella as well. But as soon as you will change the value of umbrella, so we are saying that I don't even have an umbrella. Now what to do, right? So I don't even have an umbrella and I'm running this. So obviously, please don't go out because you don't have an umbrella, right? Whereas it is raining. So don't go out. So whenever this if or else condition within themselves have another if and else, or if else, if elif else, right? Whatever. So if one conditional statement has another conditional statement within it, then it is called as nesting, right? Nesting of if else conditions. In the similar way, loops also get nested, right? So this is a very simple example for nesting, and I hope that this is clear. In a similar way, if you want to put nested if else inside this else block, you can do that also. If you want to put these if else blocks within the elif blocks, so that is also a possibility. You can do this in any way, right? Uh, you have infinite possibility of putting if else into another if else. So this is how it works. I hope that this is clear. So I hope that this thing is clear. Now the next thing that comes in Python is loops, right? So let us discuss, and before loops, let us see a very simple statement which is called as match, right? Match also works in the very similar way as if else. Now what happens is that suppose in the same way that previously we were having a calculator, in the similar way, now again we want to have a calculator, right? And obviously this operator can have plus, minus, multiplication, different values. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create the cases, right? So we are saying that match this operator with the different cases that we are creating, right? And what are the cases? So first case is plus case, right? If suppose the value of operator is plus, then what do we have to do? So we are saying that we have to basically add two values. And what are those two values? Either you can take it from the user, or let us define it by ourselves this time. So number one is suppose 78, and number 2 is suppose 90, right? And what we are saying, that if the case matches with plus, that is, sorry, if the case plus matches with the operator, that is whatever the value you are having inside operator is equals to plus. If these two cases matches, then what you have to do is you have to have a variable called as result, and then you have to add these two values, which is num1 plus num2, and then you can get it printed. So print so addition or plus result equals to, right, result. So something like this. If this case matches with minus, so suppose the operator that you have kept inside operator variable is equals to minus, then what we are printing is we are saying that result equals to num1 minus num2, and here we are printing the result of the minus, which is kept inside result again. Another operator could be multiplication. So if multiplication is the case, right, that is operator also has multiplication inside it, then we are going to print here that the result of multiplication is kept inside result, and here we are going to use multiplication symbol. And there comes a default case, that is, if suppose a user has entered a value which is not matching with any of the cases. This can happen as well. So in that particular case, we want to print here that invalid operator, right? Invalid operator, or any message according to the application that you are making, right? Now if you will run this one, so it is saying that I have operated upon plus case and 168 is the answer. Now why is it running only this particular why is it running only this particular statement, these two statements only? Because the operator is plus inside the operator variable, and we are matching this operator variable with the different cases that we have made, right? If now suppose I'll keep here minus, so it will, the operator is containing minus, and it will match the case of minus only. So as soon as it will find out the minus case, then whatever lines are written with the case minus will be running. So at this particular moment, subtraction, and that is the answer is minus 12, will appear. Now if you will say that I want to go for this time multiplication operator, then obviously the multiplication will take place. But if you will go for divide, right? Division. So in this particular case, you have not created any case for division. So obviously it is an invalid operator for this particular program, because there is no such case as division, right? So if we'll run this, then this default case will run. So default case always run when the case that you have created are not matching up with the variable that you want to match it with, right? Or the expression that we are getting from this particular line. So if these two things doesn't match, then this default case run, and in the default case you can put any message or any code, and the same thing we are doing here. So I hope that this is also clear. You know, this is all about match operator, that how it works and everything, right? So this is about match operator, right? Now the next thing that we have to understand is about our loops, right? Very important. So loops, how they work is very simple. So if you will count in your brain that basically you have to clap 5 times, suppose. So you have to clap 5 times. So you're counting in your brain that, okay, how many clapping have I done? So you will clap for the first time, your brain will say one. And you will clap for the second time, your brain will say two. You will clap for the third time, your brain will say three, right? In the same way, you will keep on doing this until you will reach your target or your result. That is, suppose you have said that you want to clap for 10 times. So as soon as you'll reach 10, your hands will automatically stop clapping. So all this is happening because you have fixed this in your mind. In the similar way, we have to use our loops here also. We have to fix our mind or our loop in such a way that it will keep on counting that how many times it has run, right? So loops basically do a particular task repeatedly, but how many times? So we have to fix it with the help of our iterator, right? So how we do that is, so for I in range, so we have to ask our I to start counting within the range, right? So it has to start with this first number that you're providing, and it has to stop on reaching this 5, right? And what does it has to do? So for example, it is clapping, right? So print clapping. We are saying that you have to repeatedly clap. And how many times? So we are saying you have to count from 0 to 5, and on reaching 5 you have to stop clapping, right? So let us see that how many times it has clapped. So we are going to print the value of I also. So let us run it. So it is saying that initially the value of I was 0, right? So now because 0 is in within the range of 0 to 5, so it's saying that, okay, let's clap, and whatever the value of I is, let us print that as well. So this is zeroth clapping, right? Then automatically the value is incremented by 1. So now I equals to 0 will be incremented, and it will become 1, right? Now 1 is also within the range. So again, a clapping will be done. Then again, the value will be incremented. Now the value has become 2. And because 2 is also in the range, so here also we'll do the clapping. Then again, the value will be incremented by 1. Every time it is incremented by 1 only, right? Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So in the next time, 3 clapping will happen, then again incrementing of the is value will happen, and then 4 clapping, and then again you will increment the value. But because we have to stop on this second value, right? We cannot go inside the loop on this second value, so here we will stop. And after stopping, this particular statement will now no more run. So whatever statement you are having afterwards will be printed. That is, your normal code will run. So here we will say normal flow of the code will be maintained then. Normal flow of the code will be maintained here on, right? So if you will now see, then it is clapping for 4 times, and then a normal flow in the sense whatever is written beneath will run. In the similar way, if you will say that we have to start from 0 but we have to stop at 15, so the counting will start from 0 but it will stop at 15, so only till 14 it will run. So you can see that right now the output is coming only till 14, and at 15 it has stopped clapping, right? If you want to change that 0 also, you want to say that no, start from 11. Why to start from 0? So that also you can do, right? So you are starting your clapping from count 11, but you will stop at 14 itself. That is, on 15, this particular statement will not be executed at all, right? So, how many languages do you have to learn? So basically, two languages. This is a question in the comment section. That how many languages do we have to learn to become a Python developer? So if you want to become a developer, so JavaScript is needed, right? Because it will give you a very good hands-on experience on front end, and Python is needed. So only these two are needed, and they are very pretty much similar, right? A little bit of differences are also there, but of course, if you learn a single language very nicely, right, very gracefully, you know all the concepts, and most of the concepts are copied here and there. So then it is not a big problem, not a big challenge for you. So it is just about a single language to conquer. Then other languages just are like each other, right? So, hello everyone. So now the next thing is, so we have understood that okay, we can keep on incrementing the ranges, and by one, it increments every time. Now, if you want, then you can also increment it with some step. So suppose we are saying that start from 11, go up to 25, but this time don't increment the value by 1. Rather go for 5. So this time if you will check this out, then it is starting from 11, but each time now it is incrementing the value by 5. So 11 plus 5, then 16 plus 5, then 21 plus 5, then 26 plus 5. So every time it is going to increment the value with 5. So this is basically a step. If you want, then this step could be 2 also, right? So 11, 13. So every time there is a gap of two numbers, two units. If you want, then you can go in negative direction as well. So you are saying that start from 40 and go till 20. So this time you are going in a reverse order and take a step of -2, right? So if you'll run this one, then it is starting from 40, going till 20. At 20 obviously it will stop, and each time it is decreasing by -2. So from 40 it is coming to 38, then 36, then 34. So each time it is decreasing the count by -2. So again a very interesting concept of going in the backward directions. And if you will just give a -1 here, then obviously 40, 39, so only one gap will be there. So this is how your loops work. So I hope that this is very much clear. It is very simple to follow on, right? And now the next thing is, there are lots of questions that are followed on loops and everything. So we are going to solve a lot of questions as well, but before that we want to go with while loop as well. So there is one more kind of a loop. Loop simply means that you have to repeat a particular task n number of times, right? So if you want to use a while loop, it says that this iterator in the for loop, you were defining it within the for loop, but if you're using a while loop, then you have to define it before. So we are saying this time, and by the way, the name of the iterator could be anything. So we are saying that the name of the iterator this time is number, and which is equals to 0. Now again you have to put a condition. So we are saying that while num is less than 5, till that time do one thing, that print the value of print the string clapping, right? And each time increment the value by 1. So we have more control over our variables and iterators in while loop. That's why I prefer personally the while loop, right? And if you will run this time, then obviously 5 times the clapping will be done, right? And if on each iteration you want to print the value of num also, then that also you can do. So zeroth clapping, first clapping, fourth clapping. So it will run only until this condition is true. As soon as this condition becomes false, it will stop the iteration, and then the normal text or normal code will run. So the normal code is here saying that okay, I am done. So we are printing done here, right? And now this time if you'll run, then after completing the clapping, it is saying done. If you want to do it in reverse order, then you can start your number from 10. You can just reverse this condition, that till the time number is greater than 5, till that time we have to run it, and instead of plus we have to put a minus here. This time if you will run this condition, then obviously 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and at the end we are done with our program. So this is how all of these things are working together. And now in tomorrow's session, so be present in tomorrow's session, and at the same time, which is 3 o'clock, and we are going to do a lot of problems on these all concepts that we have covered till this point in time, that is operators, then if else conditions and loops. So we are going to cover a lot of problems on these topics. So be present in tomorrow's session. I think that it will be very helpful if you want to start with your data structures journey, or you want to become a data analyst, data scientist, whatever. So these simple logical problems are very important if you want to build a very good base, or basics you want to make them strong. So this session will be very helpful for you. So I recommend personally that be available tomorrow at this time, right, everyone? So we are going to cover a lot of problems. I'll see you in the session tomorrow, right? Till that time, just cover your basics nicely, and we'll do some problems related to the list and everything. All right, guys, bye bye for today, and let's meet tomorrow.